Hi, I'm Cathy Thomas. The textures and flavors. Sautéed pork belly is an irresistible treat. Here to show us how to perfect it is Wagner, Chef Director of the CulinaryLab Cooking School in Anaheim. Welcome, Chef. What are the components that make a great pork belly dish?
I think it starts with great pork belly to begin with. We got ours from Electric City Butcher today, responsibly sourced, knowing where it came from. And then skin. Skin on pork belly is where it's at. And so often I see it without that, but it's that super crispy topping. It's like a creme brulee. It's crispy on the top and you get into it and it's super creamy and rich and fatty. And it's got all the right amounts of each component just within the meat.
It makes it pop, it makes it crunchy. Well, let's get started.
Let's do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is score this skin, because when it's done, it's going to be so hard and crispy that if you try to cut it with a knife, it'll just break into pieces. You want to let the eater do that. Sort of a crosshatch mark on this.
A little heat under this pan.
So we'll season this really well with salt. In fact, if you kind of open it up like that, flex it a little bit, you can get on the inside there.
You're using a nice coarse salt.
Yep, it's a coarse sea salt. I've got a blend here of mostly extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of grapeseed oil. And we're going to go in here skin side down. It's really important.
You got the sizzle.
Got the sizzle we're looking for. And I'm not doing a traditional hard brown sear like I would with most braises. We're just going for a very light sear. Trying to get the party started on the skin. Just about a minute or so here. Flip it over, take a look. That's perfect. What we're looking for is just a little bit of that kind of light brown, some air bubbling happen on the top. We'll give it a moment on this side to sear, but not a super hard sear. And we'll go ahead and add our liquid into it. Very simple apple cider vinegar. This is our acidic component of the braising liquid. And then just apple juice. One of the things we try to talk about a lot at Culinary Lab is understanding technique. And one of the ways to help people understand technique is to simplify it. So instead of doing a ton of ingredients, we could do herbs and spices, we could have stock, we could have brandy in here would be really good, or wine, but it's not necessary. The apple's gonna speak on its own and be a really great pairing with a pork belly. Normally you cover up or braise, right? So being uncovered allows the top to stay nice and dry.
Beautiful. And so about 3 hours braising in the oven, and you've got something that's tender and delicious and wonderful, and I can do that in advance.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool it, wrap it, put it in the refrigerator, then when it's time to finish it off, take it out.
Absolutely, yeah. Really works well in advance.
Right, so it's great for home entertaining.
Perfect, yeah. Got some cauliflower, some radishes, some nice baby gold beets, and then a few different colors of baby carrots. We're gonna toss them with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, super simple. We're gonna go 475 degrees just until they start to get kind of brown on the outside and feel a bit soft.
You've strained those juices?
Strain it through a very fine mesh strainer, and then we've skimmed off most of the fat. If you do make this ahead of time, a great way to do it is to just chill down the whole thing. That fat cap will turn white and pure, and now you've got lard that you can cook with. And it's easier to get all of it out, so you don't have it left in the liquid.
Terrific.
We're gonna make our mustard seed jam. So I'm gonna do my diced apples. We'll do some thyme that I've just tied up with some twine. Mustard seeds, I'm using yellow mustard seeds. And just a little bit of brown sugar. Now, if we don't have enough broth, you can always add water or more apple juice and it would be fine. And in the other pot here, I'm just gonna add the remaining braising liquid here. And this we're just gonna reduce until it's a little glaze for our pork.
Beautiful.
We're ready to go.
All
We
right.
have our pork belly here that's been glazed. We have our jam and our vegetables. I think you said you call it a cauliflower steak.
I call those steaks.
That's a good name for it. Got nice and brown from being flat side down on the pan. I cut this pork belly in half here. Go down right next to the pork there. We'll bring in our vegetables.
And these beets are absolutely stunning.
They are, and I cut them open after they roast. You can see sort of the charry bits of them, and you also see the clean inner part. The last step here is a little herb salad. And this is our plate.
Chef, it's absolutely gorgeous, and as beautiful as it is, I know it's going to taste even better. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
I learned a lot today.
Here's a quick tip from Melissa's. A vegetable concoction scented with herbs makes a delicious side dish or main course, especially when teamed with grain or pasta. So in the skillet, I've sauteed some thinly sliced fresh fennel and a little bit of sweet onion. I'm going to add some minced garlic and some dried herbs. This mixture is called l'herbe de Provence, or herbes de Provence, or Provençal herbs. And it's a mixture of marjoram, oregano, thyme, savory, lavender, and a little bit of rosemary. So I'm going to just put a little bit, maybe a half of a teaspoon of that mixture. I really like the looks of these vegetables because they've got a little caramelization on them. In goes about a half a cup of dry white wine, and I'm going to goose up the temperature and add some cooked shelled edamame and these steamed artichoke hearts that are packaged in such a way that they're stable and good for about 3 to 4 months. And I'm just going to heat the mixture until that wine evaporates. So our wine is cooked down. We want a little fresh lemon juice, some olives, a little bit of salt and pepper. So I've got some long-grained brown basmati rice. And now my vegetable concoction. Some crumbled feta cheese on top. As is, this could be a lovely vegetarian entree or served with meat, a side dish. Easy. The fruit and vegetable aisles are filled with so much potential. Try something new. Have an adventure.